Oh, how's this thing work? Oh, it's on. Good morning, everybody. Good to be with you today. I'm turning back to my live human students so that I can capture this pretty face on camera for the two or three people that will watch this on YouTube over the next few decades. What I want to talk to you about today in our career development course, I want to share with you some of the basic conventions of resume writing, of what resumes, how they're supposed to sound, how they're supposed to be structured, organized, things like that. Uh, and so to do that, I'm going to share with you a simple resume that I built for myself. So the information is accurate about me, though if I were actually using it to pursue a career, it would be or pursue a new job, it would be a two-page resume with more information. This is something I spent like a solid 15 minutes on last semester. So it's just for demonstration purposes. But a thing to, now nobody's on screen, a thing to understand about resumes is that there are certain conventions that are normal and expected that will make your document look and sound professional, look and sound like the kinds of documents human resources folks are looking for. But there's no one way to put a resume together. You've discovered that because of the project you've done where you were searching for sample resumes, and you've seen that they all look a little bit different. There are ways to put your personal touch on them. So when I pull up on the screen here in a moment my resume, I'm not telling you that yours must look exactly like this and be exactly in this format. When there are choices I've made that are expectations, I'll be sure to point that out to you. All right. So, sorry, viewer, take your last glimpse at my pretty face because I'm going to pull up my resume. That's not my resume. Oh, I remember from Zoom days, this black box covers what I want, but the people watching the video can't see it, so they will think I'm insane. All right. This is my sample resume. And I'm not pretending to be the all-time master of resumes, but in one of my past lives, I'm not talking in a reincarnation sense, just in a past era of my life, I was a professional resume writer. So I did prepare documents like this for a living on people's behalf. Jalen, are you staring at the one empty chair and trying to figure out what to do with it? You could sit on it. Yeah. Oh, wow, that's captured for all time. Me picking on you is captioned for all time on YouTube. All right, so you see in my document here, and I've got the header, which has my name and my contact info. The as far as what that will look like on your document is going to vary depending on the format that you choose or even the format that you create. But all of this information is standard to have included on the resume: name, mailing address, telephone number, email address. For the record, that is a real address, but it's the address of my very first house that I grew up in. So if you're looking to prank me, but put like a burning bag of dog poo on my doorstep, these are going to be innocent bystanders living in this little old house. And that was my first phone number. I could not tell you my phone number right now in 2025 off the top of my head if you gave me $100, but I can tell you the phone number that I had from 1979 to 1987, 722-6565. I'll never forget that. Um, when it comes to putting together a resume, um, you have a number of different options, and we're specifically here looking ahead to, for the folks in the room, probably a few years in the future when you're ready to launch your career. Some of your best option that I'm about to outline for you is probably something that's going to be, well, there's a chair here, probably something that's going to be a little financially uh, out of the way for you right now, particularly the jobs you'd be applying for now are jobs you can work while you're in high school. But over the long term, should you write your own resume, right? The you'll get the best result if you write your own resume and you are a strong writer. if you're not a strong writer, well, become one. That's you're being educated right now. So put the phone away and actually listen. If you still have teachers that tell you the things you're supposed to know, or you'll have writing courses in college where you will have teachers that actually tell you the stuff you're supposed to know. I've never heard of a college course where it's just like, all right, do your IXLs, and that's not what a college professor does. But you shouldn't be penalized in your career. Let's say you want to be a veterinarian. It's going to benefit you no matter what to be a strong writer. But being a less than strong writer who you want to be able to communicate, but if you're not the master of where the commas go and where the semicolons go and all of that, that shouldn't stop you from being a veterinarian because the puppies don't care, right? So if you're not a strong writer, your best option is to hire a professional resume writer. And when you meet with a professional resume writer, it's best to choose one that you can meet with in person. That's what I used to do for a living. A lot of this is done online these days, and I'm not saying that's bad, but you'll get a better result if you actually meet in person with a professional resume writer. Your professional resume writer will organize all of the information you provide him or her. The resume writer can't invent information. And sometimes that's a temptation. What if my qualifications don't match what they're looking for, but I still want the job, right? What if I want to be a brain surgeon, but I dropped out of 8th grade and I don't feel like going back to high school and then medical school? What if I just make it up? What if I just invent details on my resume? It can be done, and you can get away with it. I don't have to explain to you why it shouldn't be done, but you also need to understand that if you falsify something on your resume and you don't get away with it, and the more responsibility that's involved in the career you're seeking, the more closely they're going to investigate your claims, right? If you're applying to work at Subway and you dropped out of 8th grade, but you claim to have a high school education, you're probably going to get away with that, right? Just what difference does it make? If you're applying to be manager of Subway, you're not going to get away with it. And if you're applying to be an attorney, a position with real responsibility and gravity and licensure requirements, as soon as the falsehood in your resume is discovered, you will never work in that industry again, right? So don't falsify things on your resume, whether you write it yourself or you hire somebody else to write it. In this day and age, there are new tools available. You know about these tools. And when these tools are used to do work for high school, you know what I think about these tools, right? It's generative AI. And I have railed and will continue to rail endlessly about the wickedness of using AI to do your work for you in high school, right? But the reason I rail against that is because of what the nature of high school work is. The nature of high school work is to form your mind. So if you're farming it out to a robot, you're not learning, which means you're making this whole exercise. You might be saving yourself some time, but the time you're spending is still an absolute waste. It's of absolutely no value. And the result is that you enter life knowing less than you otherwise would. Often, with as rampant as AI in high school work is, students are in danger of entering the adult world with adult responsibilities, knowing no more than they did when they were 11. If it seems even for a second to you that might be in your best interest, rethink your life choices. I don't rail against AI because there's something like inherently evil about the technology itself, right? I mean, it's not the sky is falling. It's not demonic. It's a technology. It's a tool like anything else. And just like a butcher knife, A butcher knife is good when you're carving meat. A butcher knife is bad when you're carving folks, right? When you're serial killing. Is that, Jenna, is that how you like to spend your time? You go out serial killing with the butcher knife? See, the knife is bad in that case, but it's not the knife's fault. It's the use you put it to. So what about the use of generative AI in creating a resume? Is that something unethical? Might surprise you that the answer I would give to that is no. I don't think it is unethical to use AI to build a resume, provided you are providing the AI accurate, true information. Unlike in high school work, or unlike if you're a professional writer and you're turning in a novel that AI generated and you're claiming to your publisher, this work of art is something that I created. When the nature of what the resume is to give the potential employer a one-stop shop glance at your qualifications and your accomplishments, right? There is no implication when you turn in a resume that you yourself have written the resume. I just recommended that you hire a professional resume writer as your best option. I still think that's a better option than AI. But I wouldn't have recommended that as an option. Indeed, I wouldn't have worked as a professional resume writer if I thought there was anything ethical or anything unethical about having someone else compose the document for you, if that someone else is a better writer, provided the document contains accurate information. Right? I guess if the only time it would be unethical to use artificial intelligence to write a resume with true information in it would be if you were applying to be a professional resume writer and then using an AI generated resume. But I think that would be a pretty narrow group of folks. So it was a fun job. You know, if you're a good writer, try it out. That's the kind of job you can do while you're in college. If you choose to use AI, so the fact that I'm cool.
Please hand out the last waivers to your students. We have had about 12 students this morning coming to the front office saying their teacher did not hand them out. Please hand them out. If you as the teacher need extra copies, please contact Ms. Vendoni. Thank you.
If you're watching this on YouTube sometime in the future and you're a first period teacher and you have not handed out your last blast waivers, you be sure to get on that or see Ms. Vendoni. What were we talking about? World War II or something? Resumes. All right. Yeah, their resumes are awesome. Did I say that? So the fact that I'm saying I don't think it's morally wrong to use AI to write a resume is not the same thing as me saying I recommend it. That's a decision you have to make for yourself. It's not something I would do, but I'm a competent writer. That's not like a brag, but just, you know, I have like 2 skills. So I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm good at a couple of things because I'm good at almost nothing. If you use AI to build a resume, still up to you to ensure that all the information is accurate. And it's still up to you to make sure that the document's actually well written and that it follows conventions, because AI circa 2025, maybe by 2026, it'll be ruling the world.
Students and teachers, please pardon the interruption. At this time, all students taking Cambridge English, please report to testing location. All students taking Cambridge English, please report to testing location. Again, at this time, all students taking ACE English should report to testing location.
So it will remain your responsibility to ensure that the document is accurate and to ensure the document is well written, because AI 2025 is still capable of producing garbage word salad. Maybe by 2026, I already did this bit, didn't I? Maybe by 2026, it'll be able to conquer the world once it figures out how many fingers people have. Any questions about that, the use of AI? I'm not in a position. So when I open up when I tell you about the next assignment, This is assuredly the only time this will ever be the case in an assignment that I give, but you will be free to use AI to help you with the next assignment. But you'll still be held responsible for the content and for the format and for it being well written. Okay. I'm not in a position to recommend particular AIs to draft resumes for you, but I know they do exist. All right, so if that's a tool that you will find helpful in this, that's okay. Back to the document itself. Some basic resume conventions. When you're including your address on a resume, it is better to spell out things like street, avenue, road. It is better to spell out the state. So instead of putting Davenport, FL, you would put Davenport, Florida. It makes the document look more serious and more professional. It's like a little psyop that you're performing on the potential employer. When you list your experience on a resume, if it is a job you're currently working at, every sentence in the job description should be written in the first person present tense with an implied but not written subject of I. So you don't use the pronoun I. The pronoun I is the implied subject of the sentence. Right? So you'll almost always begin the sentence with a verb in the present tense for a current position. But if you look, so here, this is my current position. And so my job description says, compose, develop, and implement curricula for standard, advanced, and collegiate courses for blah, 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 blah. And the next sentence, collaborate with administrators and peers to ensure blah, 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 blah. Notice both of those sentences are present tense, and you could add the word I to the beginning of the sentence, and they would mean exactly the same thing. I compose, develop, and implement curricula. I collaborate with administrators and peers. I identify unique gifts and needs of students. I implement all relevant state and federal accommodations for blah, 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 blah. Why? Why the implied I, but not the use of I? It's one of the eternal mysteries of the cosmos. Nobody knows the answer to that question. Well, I don't know the answer to that question anyway, but this is the way resumes are written. The current position is written in first person present tense with an implied but not written I. So if my current position is sandwich artist at Subway, my first sentence might be prepare meals for a diverse customer base in fast-paced fast food environment, mop toilets when there has been various diarrheas of one degree or another, blasted upon toilet in this direction, that in the other direction. Notice how, again, it's first person present tense with an implied I. You want your general job description of what you overall do to be written in prose.
Pardon the interruption. At this time, any students for ACE English who have not reported to testing locations should do so now. Once again, any students taking ACE English need to report to testing locations immediately.
I could add endure perpetual obnoxious interruptions without, let's say without losing my cool, but that's not true. I lose my cool. So your job description should be written in a block of prose text and bullet points. Sometimes you'll see resumes that bullet point everything. Everything is bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. To do that goes against the purpose of the bullet point. The bullet point is to draw the reader's attention to something special. So you save the bullet point for unique accomplishments or special events, for awards for particular details that you want to direct the employer's attention to. So in my prose job description, I speak about, because I'm a teacher, I speak about writing the curriculum and delivering the curriculum and interacting with students. Those are day-to-day, year-to-year things, right? In my bullet points, I draw attention to special things. So I designed, and notice now, because they are particular accomplishments in the past, that it's now written in first person past tense. Designed philosophy-focused honors level course, Introduction to Humanities, providing 9th and 10th grade students opportunity to engage, blah, 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 blah. Launched ACE Classical Studies, AS level and A level, our school's first A level course, blah, 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 blah. All right. Don't down the line bullet point everything. Have your job description as a standard block of prose text and save the bullet points for particular accomplishments that you want to draw attention to. You'll notice I'm going to give you a tip that I didn't follow because I'm not smart enough to overcome the terrible settings built into Microsoft Word. In the bullet point, you want all the lines to line up. All right. So ideally, the C here would be right under the L, the G would be right under the L, and the C. I battled Microsoft Word and its tab function, and it simply would not allow me to do that. So I want you to do that in yours, but that particular little error, I won't penalize you for if you're also unable to defeat Microsoft Word. It'd be unfair to do that. And here, I've only put one prior position, and I didn't put a job description because the immediate prior position was substitute teacher, and also because this is just a demo resume. When you're listing past positions and describing them, everything is the same, except you're speaking in past tense all along. So if you used to work at Subway and you're putting that on your resume, instead of saying prepare meals, you would say prepared meals for diverse clientele. Current jobs, first person present tense. Past jobs, first person past tense. How far back should you go on your resume? Well, you're all just getting ready to begin your careers. So I know that's not a relevant question for you right now. If you go to college, you get a college degree, generally speaking, you no longer have to include your high school education on your resume. It's implied that you went to high school if you have a college degree. But you will include, if you have multiple college degrees, you'll always include all of those degrees. Do you include any highlights from college, a bullet point to emphasize your grade point average, a bullet point to emphasize you were the elected student body president or editor of the school newspaper? If it's relevant to your career, and if it's something that's going to look good, if your college grade point average was 0.0000069, I wouldn't put that on your resume, right? If it was 4.0, you might. My graduate school, my master's degree grade point average would look really nice on my resume, but my undergraduate college it's not bad, but it's nothing. It's unimpressive. Straight up 3.0. And to put the grad school grade point average and leave off the college grade point average would draw undue attention. It would make someone say, why'd he leave off his college grade point average? Maybe it was a 0.00004, and so I just don't include them, right? Even if I were really going to use this in a 2-page version and actually look for a job with it, I wouldn't include the grade point averages because the undergrad is just, my undergraduate, my bachelor's degree point average, because it includes everything. I didn't finish college till I was 30 years old, so it includes everything from 18 to 30, and there were a lot of false stops in there. That stuff never goes away. This class never goes away. I've told you that from the very beginning. Those of you who are okay with failing this class because whatever, have chosen to have an F on your college transcript for the rest of your life, and you've chosen that for no reason, because I've intentionally made this the easiest college course conceivable. So, regret.
taking Cambridge English, this is your final call to go to testing locations.
If you're applying for a career that has a specific licensure requirement, like mine does, I have to be licensed by the state of Florida to teach, then you do want to include licensure information on your resume. Any questions about that? So I've given you this as a sample. I've posted just the document on Schoology. You'll have the video to review. Most of the video, also, if you're just curious about whether people who are supposed to test today are supposed to go to their rooms, most of the video covers that pretty thoroughly. While I'm still filming, so this next part is really for, if anyone's watching this on YouTube, really for my current students in the year 2025. If that's not you, you might as well log off right now and go watch TikTok or something. I want to show you the actual assignment that the next step in your final project. Right? So you can see it on Schoology. It's called Resume Draft. Resume and cover letter draft. Okay, so I'll do the please note last. There's that black box. People watching will think I'm crazy because I can't see it, but it's covering everything. Okay, so select a job posting that matches the career you ultimately want. It can be one of the 5. That'd be the simplest thing for you, is it could be one of the 5 that you submitted in your job posting assignment. But if you found something else that interests you more, I don't care. Pick one. All right. It can be one of the 5 or it can be something else, but it has to be a real, actual, open job that matches the career that you want. Take screenshots of the posting or copy and paste the posting into a document and upload it here. Be sure to include the full posting, especially the qualifications and the job description. Imagine you've completed all the requirements and are now qualified for the job you've selected. Compose a cover letter and resume targeted to your selected job posting. So if it is a position as head graphic designer for a marketing firm, all right, you want to put together a resume. All the information is fake in this resume, right? Because you're not actually qualified to do that yet. You're imagining it's the future, right? So you will put fake past positions, but actual fake past positions in the industry that would qualify you for the position that you want. You'll put a fake college degree, but it needs to be a real fake college degree, right? So if you're applying to be the head of pediatrics at a hospital in this resume, right? Well, you want to put, you need to find a school that actually offers an MD degree, a medical doctor degree, and whatever else you need to be head of pediatric medicine at a hospital. And that's the degree you want to put on this fake resume, okay? Because that's the degree you will need. That's the degree future you has in order to be qualified for the job, right? So if you put that, you went to the University of School and have a Bachelor of Arts in farts on your resume, well, that's not going to qualify you. It's not going to qualify you to be head of pediatric medicine as a hospital. So it has to be a realistic fake resume. In a sense, I'm training you to be frauds, but fraud is not the purpose here, right? Fraud is to give you the assignment is to give you experience building an actual professional resume, not one that can get you hired at Wendy's tomorrow, one that can get you hired with the career that you want. So compose a cover letter and resume targeted to your selected job posting. Resume should demonstrate that you understand the required qualifications. Work experience section may include real positions for real companies or realistic fictional companies. Education section should include actual degrees offered by actual colleges. So more realistically than the Bachelor of Arts in farts, don't put that you have a Bachelor of Arts in Biology from Valencia. First of all, a bachelor's degree in biology is going to be a Bachelor of Science. Second of all, to my knowledge, Valencia doesn't offer bachelor's degrees. Right? I could be wrong about that. Prove me wrong, but put a real fake degree on there. Oh, look, I'm I'm so senile, like I actually built that into the instructions and forgot it, even though they're right there. Please note, if you find it helpful and choose to do so, you may use AI to assist with composing your resume. Please do not use AI for the cover letter, but write your own. I'm not taking a stand that an AI-generated cover letter is ethically wrong. I'm just asking you to write your own for this assignment. But if you find AI helpful in building the resume, you may do that. But you are still responsible for the content. Here's something really important to note about this, and then I'll shut up and we'll be done for today. It's due Thursday, May 8th, 11:59 p.m. Students who submit this assignment on time will be given an opportunity to revise before receiving a final grade. You'll be given class time, you'll be partnered up with another student, you'll peer review each other's work, and you'll also have the opportunity to ask for my feedback if you submit the document on time. Late submissions, any late submissions, 5-minute late submissions will be graded as is. There'll be no late penalties. Just get the grade that you get, but it will, the 7-day window is still there. So it won't be accepted after 7 days, but it's not losing 14% a day. It's 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 0 after day 7. And if it's late, it's the first thing you turn in is what gets graded. Any questions about this stuff or other stuff? All right. That's all I need from you for today. Rest of the time is yours. How do I do this?